You have the power to bring yourself back into what's good for you, no? A lot of times, again, we get wrapped up with self-doubt. If you know that something's good for you, come back to it. Come back to it and share it. Know that you have that power, that gift for you. It is just so silly not to share it with the world.
Is the purpose of yoga then to feel that connection?
Sí, definitely. The union and connection you build within yourself through the practice of yoga, it really helps you to be a better person.
I get a chance to speak with Vanessa, who runs a yoga church in Mexico. What makes her so special is that she humanizes the guru inside of ourselves. The guru is no longer someone who is external to us, like a Tony Robbins or one of those characters in the world. And what's so important about that is that we get to come back to our own sense of authenticity. And when we express from that place, we stay connected to our own power and we become less susceptible to these, flawed characters in the world that tell us how to live. We realize that how to live and how to be happier is something that is already inside of ourselves. It's much more real, authentic, and connected to the guru that is inside of ourselves. Vanessa? So why are we here?
Oh my God. Right away, starting with the hard questions. I don't know, all of us, I feel like we have some sort of mission or purpose, no? I'm here to tell you that you have a lot of power in your hands with just being alive and being present. I know it sounds really cliche, but I feel like that has a lot of power for me, Tell people what's the purpose of being here, but also how present you are through that practice, no?
One of the reasons why I really resonated with you in your yoga class, you run yoga church on Sundays, and last week in your class, and today too, you spoke about the guru, and the concept of the guru not necessarily needing to be a person. It can be, but that the guru kind of is in all lessons around you and is within you. And it resonated with me because I think so much about how we give away our power in our lives. And in reality, we have the way to return to our power.
That's very important. And that's the message of this practice, specifically today with the guru mantra that some of you yogis might know. And some people don't know the concept of certain mantras and Sanskrit words we use in yoga. But this guru mantra specifically, it teaches you how to honor all of the teachers we have in our lives and in experiences in different forms, no? It does comes through lessons. It does comes through a physical guru, a physical teacher. And also that inner guidance, no? That inner teacher, that's a lot of the lesson of this practice specifically, or this class, that never bypass that power, no? To listen to the inner guidance, no? That's the best teacher, no? So that was the lesson today.
Really.
And it resonates with a lot of people also when it comes to discipline and showing up for yourself. Again, lessons that we have to encounter in life, that can be an actual guru, no?
Yeah, it's interesting you use the word discipline. I have such a hard relationship with discipline, because to me, discipline comes sometimes, I've framed it from the perspective of, there's some part of me that is forcing me to do something. And I feel like I'm giving away power to that part.
Yeah, that's true. It is, we built a lot of discipline through be consistent, but also be joyful with what you're doing, no?
Man, I have really let joy be a guide in my life.
Yeah, that's definitely like a thing. Like, again, the stories of the mind. My one teacher always will say, like, it's not your body's fault your mind gets wrapped up or it gets lazy. Sometimes a lot of that story, you have the power to bring yourself back into what's good for you, no? Again, it doesn't look the same for everybody. Everybody has a different, unique experience in life. So a lot of my teaching is based on what's the immediate need right there, right now. Sometimes it changes with the age, it changes with the station, it changes with a lot of elements within and around you. But I feel like it's important to recognize your nature, but it's very important to recognize what you're saying about power, no? That you know that you have that power to make yourself good, make yourself healthy, cultivate well-being around you through not just your family, but community and society in general, no?
The immediate need of your own nature.
Yeah.
So becoming aware and becoming present with what your immediate need is.
Yeah.
But the added part of of your own nature implies something that am I born with that? Or
Yeah.
what does that mean?
See, I feel like we all born with certain natures. Obviously, that comes from what family you're born into, and then the unique experience you have through obviously childhood and all the experiences in your life. We constantly changing, no? We beings are constantly evolving and changing.
I guess out of my own curiosity, maybe because I struggle with it, how can you then, if you are checking your ego and practicing the position of a guru or of a teacher responsibly, how then can you step into the teacher while maintaining the perspective that you aren't above anyone?
Sí.
And yet at the same time, you step into a role of power.
Sí, claro.
So how do you do that?
I feel like that comes with the experience, obviously. Like a lot of the years back, I see how many hours and hours I spent personally studying. A lot of times comes through, I feel like I just have to click and use something that maybe open the eyes behind the eyes of what you see, and really increase that sensitivity in the students so then they can see they do have that power, no? I feel like a lot of my power come through actually see you practice, hear you, how you breathing. And I do step into like, okay, I'm teaching. And it's very powerful. Like I feel like that came through a lot of years and experience and a lot of study, a lot of compassion also for like people that come in new into the practice, and like almost the feeling that I want to make them feel that they come back. But I'm also, I feel like we have to humanize that being teaching too, because we almost feel like the guru, no? And today we chant to the guru, but almost feels like it is an enlightenment being.
It's not an enlightened being.
I feel like it is in a way, but I feel like you have to be able to humanize problems, gifts, situations. Almost like when we have a problem, also we don't humanize those problems. So if we have a problem with the ego, you have any problems with addictions, or if you have any problems, you almost feel like stepping away from being a human. I'm talking about bad stuff, but also when you have a gift, no, you almost want to bring yourself more down to the ground and humanize that too. I feel like a lot of people listen to what I'm saying through because I'm more of a human here leading you, but also I'm not stepping into that pedestal of like, oh, I'm a huge teacher. It almost leaves the ego to the side, and almost that people respond to that because they see me as the person again. I am here and I am outside. No.
You mentioned ego part.
Aha.
So that's there.
Sí.
Right? Like we can't like ignore our ego. It's the part that actually I don't know. For me, I struggle with it because I'm like, yeah, there's a part of me that does want recognition for what I'm doing.
Claro. Sí.
But then if I go too much into the recognition, I get out of the flow. I'm now doing things that aren't really an expression of my heart.
Yeah.
I let the ego take over because I want the recognition, and then I lose touch with my magic.
Sí.
So like, just curious how you allow yourself to tap into the ego part, but then also
put it aside, like you said.
Yeah, I almost feel like it's so nice to be recognized, like what you're saying. And again, all the hard work you put in something, because people have a gift doesn't mean you always, you always have it. Most people, you're born with something, again, that, again, your true nature, no? And then again, the life experience changes the way the ego works. Again, for me in yoga for many years I was very egocentric. I have to say and be honest that I don't think the teaching was true to itself. I almost did it because it's such a nice job, it's such a nice way to make a life, honestly. Like, I don't have to work 8-10 hours a day. And I almost felt like it was very superficial for me for years and years. And that, I had a lot of work and I had a lot of blessings. But really when I kind of left that aside for a couple years, I stepped back into my practice. Then I had my daughter, a lot of other experiences that really enhance all the powers. Yeah, I almost felt like I had to pack up the ego and kind of start from zero, to also when you have a baby at home, you have to leave your work, you almost don't recognize yourself, so you have to come back to it. And then that, I don't know what it is, and I know it's esoteric and woo talking, but almost the universe responds to that honesty from me to step into a truthful teaching that I'm like transmitting. Yes, you have to live with your ego. Like, who doesn't? No, like, it's just so hard to like, oh, I'm just gonna put it aside and put it in the drawer. But I almost felt more truthful and again, more responsibility to be the person I am here and the outside. And again, not just with the teaching of students, but also my kids and my partner and my family, my parents, and like that I almost have more responsibility. So that I almost felt like kept the ego under control. Responsibility.
What does it mean to not recognize yourself in the context of having a child?
I feel like it's beautiful. It's nothing too heavy or too bad, but I almost feel like because you have the responsibility of a human being, it almost feels like you almost don't see yourself. Like you always seeing your baby, you always constantly engage with the baby, have to, be really present for the baby. That I almost feel like a lot of women, they don't know who they are. I have to say that. Like for me, it was a big breakthrough because 2 years of not teaching, almost public classes here and there, almost coming back to my practice. Then I got pregnant. I'm laughing because it was never part of the plan, but the universe has a plan. And so it almost opened up other parts of my brain. I don't know how to explain it. Like it's really hard to go through postpartum and try to do a whole yoga sequence. I almost feel like when you going through motherhood postpartum, you almost don't have any ego, no? Most of us, our bodies change and our mind changes. So you almost don't have time to like fix your hair or be so egocentric about mundane stuff. But I feel like it's a big thing for me to recognize again, humanize those things that we go through. And most people relate to me in classes because of that experience, no?
Yeah, I could see that. And maybe you can help educate me. I understand why yoga in the West or in this modern age became about the physicality. I get that because, we have the workout culture, the wellness culture.
Yeah.
We have limited time, we think, and so we have to pack in a workout if we're doing yoga.
Yeah.
But originally, historically, yoga had a different purpose.
It was completely different before. Again, that's the other thing that I feel like now these days, we are most losing the lineage of our old teachers. Again, I have to say that I have really good lineage, my teachers, from my teachers and my teachers. And it's not exactly that, we recognize that teacher that's famous or the name of it. But I almost feel like you do have to transmit this knowledge and give it respect, I want to say, or give it its its own space in your practice now these days. Because again, we're moving fast now these days. Again, like what you say, time is limited. You almost feel like you always never have time. Like I look back and I'm like, how I was there for an hour and 40 minutes, practicing without a thought. Now these days we're like this, no? It's like you have to move, you have to do, you have always somewhere to be. I don't know, like I feel like before life maybe was slower somehow. I feel like we had a little more time. It was more simple. I feel like maybe life was more simple.
I'm curious if you'd be open to it. I just had this thought come up, but don't let it, you feel free to say no.
Yeah.
If there's a mantra or a chant that is coming through you right now
Okay.
from this conversation, or that's been really resonating with you in your own practice or in your own life that you have found meaning.
Pues I'm very devoted to, if you see, we have the deities here. We have Nataraj, which is a form of Shiva. And if you want to become familiar with the deities, I was raised Catholic, so we do pray to different saints. This is the saints of, the Hindu tradition, more of the oldest tradition. Shiva has always been my god, and Shiva is he's the Lord of transformation and change. That was, again, for me, a breakthrough after years and years of teaching. And it wasn't like I wasn't there, but it was more of a superficial teaching than actually what it came through me after, I have to say, after my daughter. It was just like, I don't know what happened there. Very good. I'm like so happy. And Shiva, Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
And so it's Om is the prime sound, universal sound. That's the seed mantra, we call it. That's where all the sound comes from. Om.
Om.
And then Nama, almost sounds like Namaste, that you're saluting. So you're like Nama. Shivaya, it's a name we give Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
And for me, that is, like, again, I'm super devoted to Shiva. There's other people that's devoted to different saints. For me, Shiva is like my God, no? It's like the person, the Lord of auspicious times too.
Shiva is often depicted as feminine, or no?
Actually, Shiva is a male, and Shiva is pictured also as a destroyer, like a really wild destruction. He's somewhere, he's over there by I don't know if people can see, but he's like a wild, actually Shiva is the Lord over one of the principal first yogis, if you want to see it that way. A lot of times, again, the yoga, for me, is everything, no? Everything can be a yoga practice. Everything can be you hold that after you step off the mat. You keep holding, you extend the benefits of the practice, but you stay there.
Like, when you say everything, you mean like even when I sit down to eat a meal?
Yeah.
That can be yoga?
See, it is said that the most ordinary things, you connect with the universe with that? Otherwise, again, you keep looking for something and then you can't find it. Or you keep coming back to the practice, which is, sometimes you have these crazy, amazing meditations and practices like breath work is really good to come into a different higher state that maybe you want to tap if you want to have a little glimpse of that. But I feel like the most ordinary things is the way you connect with that universe, no? How can you practice your tantra that way, no? And so for me, that's a big thing, because a lot of times you pass a lot of time alone at home, if you are a mom or a dad, parents or whatever. And I feel like we almost can have those states when we're like just, cooking.
You're saying we feel like we can't have those states in the mundane.
Yeah.
But in reality, that oftentimes our connection to the universe actually specifically happens in those moments.
Sí.
And then does that then, maybe this is a very simplistic way of talking about it, but is the purpose of yoga then to feel that connection?
Sí, definitely. Like I feel like at the end of all, again, the union and connection you build within yourself through the practice of yoga, it really helps you to be a better person. No, and again, I'm a yoga teacher. I'm not preaching out there yoga is the best thing. It can be another different practice from many different traditions and many different countries, and a lot of people have different practices. But I feel like yoga now we have this big community, so I feel like we should take advantage of that. No, that it's opening up a different part of the mind for people, no? And yeah, it also has to do with like the way you carry yourself, no? Your physical body and your mind and everything else that includes your being, no? So I feel like I feel like certain yogis, like they don't practice like a lot of physical yoga anymore. Maybe they're just like I say, find more value in sitting or chanting or reading or studying different things. And it doesn't have to be necessary like yoga what you see, no? Again, people is opening up more and more. Like I have to say in Mexico, a lot of family of mine, they're like, what is this you're doing? Or at the beginning, when I started studying yoga, a lot of people, they thought we were really weird hippies, or I don't know, like how they picture a yogi in a way. But again, we all humans, no, going through these experiences. And what is the best tool you can have to help you go through things, no? For me particularly, like I have to say, like yoga, I see a lot of people that going through, different challenges in health and mentally. It has helped them. And their practice are very simple. Like again, you don't have to do anything super crazy to have that glimpse of where is that benefit and the tool that you're using, no, for it.
Really value the way you humanize everything. I feel that the accessibility to you as a teacher allows me to be more connected to the teacher in me. And that's an incredible gift.
Sí.
So I want
Gracias.
Thank you. Gracias a ti.
Thank you. Qué lindo. Muchas gracias.
A ti. So these conversations I like to end with a question.
Okay.
But it's a question that you would have other people ask themselves. So basically, if someone's listening to this podcast or watching it, or this conversation, I don't know what to call it, what's a question you would want others to ask themselves?
Okay.
You can think about it.
Going back to your personal gift, I feel like that's a big thing for me, because I feel like everybody is so unique in a way. Like I know I'm talking about community, collectiveness, and how you can come to that unison with the people around you, your household. But I feel like exactly what you do, that people have to come back to their power, no? Have to come back to, a lot of times, again, we get wrapped up with self-doubt. And if you don't know yourself, or again, if you have something to heal in your body, to know that you can come back to it, to know that you have that power, no? Yeah, I feel like you have to stay constant. Like, I know it sounds like a record, like it is discipline and everything, but like, if you know that something's good for you, come back to it and share it. Know that you have that power, that gift for you. It is just so silly not to share it with the world. I almost feel like if you don't like to be such an extrovert person, to go out there and shout it out, share it with your loved ones, like, if you can share it with your kids and like your household. I feel like, ask yourself, how can you share this gift with the world?
How can you share your gift with the world?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks,
Gracias. Thank you.
Gracias.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Ay, qué lindo. Gracias.
Gracias
Qué
a vos.
chido.